Welcome to my channel. It's very late in the morning here in Sweden. My name is Rainer, this is Rainierbooks, and I have to make a video, a reaction video, because the Bookerprize has published the long list at midnight Greenwich Mean Time. Now Greenwich means summertime in England. It's almost 2 o'clock here in Sweden, but I have to give you my first reaction to these lists, and I don't know, I was about to say weird list. It's not a weird list, but it's a strange list in any way, because we have 9 women and 4 men on the long list of the Bookerprize for 2020, which makes it a little bit look like another women's prize for literature. We have loads of American authors on that list, which actually looks like it is a National Book Award list, but let's take them from the beginning. I give you a short reaction to all the titles, and I had 2 rights only, and I can take them from the very beginning. This is Hilary Mantel with, this is of course Hilary Mantel with The Mirror and the Light, and I'm happy that Kiley Reid is on the long list with Such a Fun Age, but we'll come to that in a minute. Now, all the books shortly described here by me. I haven't read many of them. I have read one of them, but I will be reading a couple of them, I promise. There are lots of debuts as well on that list by the Booker Foundation, and is The New Wilderness by Diane Cook from the United States, a novel that will be published on September the 3rd in the United Kingdom by One World Publications. This is Diane Cook, The New Wilderness, which is a novel about a mother and a daughter relationship in the face of climate change and of overpopulation of the planet, which sounds a little bit like Jenny Ophel, but it really doesn't. This is the first title. The second title is, and I had this second title on my longer list for the long list that I predicted, that was almost totally wrong. The second title is called This Mournable Body by Tsitsi, I have to get the name right, by Tsitsi Dangarembga from Zimbabwe. That novel has been published already on January 16 by Faber and Faber in London, in England. And this is the second novel. It's almost a sequel, but it's a standalone novel about the fate of a young woman in Zimbabwe, in poor Zimbabwe, who has to live in a hostel in the beginning of that novel, and who works her way up as a biology teacher, but always she gets in trouble in poverty and corruption and things like that. This is This Mournable Body by Tsitsi Dangarembga. The third novel is another debut. This is Burnt Sugar by Avni Doshi, an American author who lives apparently in Dubai. I haven't heard about her novel, which is called Burnt Sugar. It will be published this week, actually, on July the 30th by Hamish Hamilton in England. It says it's a searing debut novel about mothers and daughters, about obsession and betrayal for fans of Jenny Ophel. Here she comes. Deborah Levy's Hot Milk, and Diana Evans's Ordinary People. This is Avni Doshi with Burnt Sugar. The fourth title is very interesting to me. I haven't had that on my list. It's another debut novel by an English author named Gabriel Krauze. This is called Who They Was, and it will be published by Fourth Estate on September 3 later this summer. This is a story about London, a London that you don't find in any guidebooks, and this is very often the London that I also visit when I come to London. It's a story about manhood, about young boys that can't wait to be men, about hidden war zones of the big cities. This is about suburbs, about estates. Who They Was by Gabriel Krauze. Then we have the big favorite, the favorite of the bookies, the favorite of everyone probably for the hat trick of the Bookerprize, Hilary Mantel with The Mirror and the Light, her third and final part of the trilogy around Cromwell, which is the first and the second part already won the Booker in 2008 and 2012. And now many people believe that Mantel can do the hat trick, and for the first time ever win a third Bookerprize, because there are a couple of people who have won 2, but nobody has won 3, and this would be so great if she wins with this 912 pages brick the title of the Booker Prize in 2020. A Paragon, that's hopefully correctly pronounced, by Colum McCann, USA/Ireland, is nominated for the Booker Prize. It's on the long list. This author has written a huge story, a big story that got very good reviews in the beginning of the year. It was published by Bloomsbury Publishing on the 25th of February this year. It's a story about an Israeli man and a Palestinian man, Bassam and Rami. They have both lost loved ones in the confrontation between Israel and Palestinians. They both went through horrible things. And the question now, but they are becoming friends and they get closer to each other because of their stories of loss and grief. This is A Paragon by Colum McCann, which is also nominated. Next title is called The Shadow King. Very interesting novel from Ethiopia/USA again. It's Maza Mengiste. She is an Ethiopian-American author who has written a novel which plays in Ethiopia in 1935 when the troops of fascist Benito Mussolini's Italy have went into Ethiopia, and the struggle of several women. It's a novel of female empowerment as far as I have read, and this sounds pretty interesting, doesn't it? Then we have Such a Fun Age by Kylie Reid, and I actually could get my copy of this book to show it to you. Should I do it? You want to see it? Yeah, okay. So I'm trying to get this now from my shelf. Now you see all my beautiful new curtains here, and you take a look at my wall of books, my very, very modest little shelves that I have here, and I am looking for Kylie Reid. Do you see her already? I cannot see her. Kylie Reid's novel is about Emira, who is a babysitter, and about a black Afro-American babysitter, and about Alex, who is a upper middle class white woman. The relationship between the two, things happen, social media gets in between, and things happen. And here we have it. Such a Fun Age by Kylie Reid is nominated. I'm very happy for Kylie Reid. Congratulations, Kylie. I'm very happy for you. This is a great novel. And I expect her also to be nominated for the National Book Award a little later this year. Another American. We have lots of Americans. I haven't counted them, but there might be 7 or 8 Americans on that list, which is really, really probably going to lead to several discussions. So many American authors. Maybe is Lee Childs responsible for that? Lee, can you tell us, please? Because the next author is an American bestseller author who is nominated with her new novel, Redhead by the Side of the Road, Ann Tyler. The novel has a beautiful cover. I love the cover of that novel. So Redhead by the Side of the Road is the novel about a man named Micah Mortimer, who is a creature of habit, a self-employed tech expert, superintendent in Baltimore, and he always he seems to live a very, very happy life with his woman friend. He doesn't call his girlfriends anymore because they are, women that are a little bit older. And suddenly, one day, a guy stands at his door and rings the doorbell and says, "Hey, I'm your son, Micah." And things develop, things about the past, things about the present. And this story is with the signature Ann Tyler wit and gimlet-eyed observation. So this is Redhead by the Side of the Road by Ann Tyler, which is longlisted for the Booker Prize in 2020. Yes, it is. The next novel is a debut from Scotland. Douglas Stewart is the author, and he has written a story about a man in Glasgow. I have visited Glasgow, beautiful city. I love Glasgow. Hi to all Glaswegians watching this. This is about a young man growing up in the 1980s in an impoverished part of Glasgow. in Margaret Thatcher's United Kingdom. And you can imagine that must have been very, very hard. And I expect a similar novel actually from the, at least from the setting, Gabriel Krauze's Who They Was. I forgot actually to mention that we have another American author that I missed on the list in the alphabetical order, and this is Brandon Taylor. And Brandon Taylor has written a novel called Real Life. Also, this is a debut. It's in the United States about an Afro-American man who is studying some science major, and he has lots of friends. His father dies back home, but he doesn't go to the funeral to his father, and he doesn't tell his friends about his loss. So the past, which is probably not so beautiful and not so good, comes back and comes and follows him, and the past is sort of keeping up with him. That's the story of Real Life from Brandon Taylor. Love and Other Thought Experiments. That's the novel by Sophie Ward that has been published by Corsair on February 6th. It's a novel about two women, a women couple, Rachel and Eliza. They want to have a baby, and one day one of the two women says that she has an ant in her eye that doesn't come out of her eye, and things start to become a little bit crazy and weird, I guess. And lots of philosophical questions are discussed as well in this. The last and final novel, number 13 on the long list of this year's Bookerprize, is Pam C. Zhang with How Much of These Hills is Gold. This is another American novel. It's another debut novel. It's another novel by a woman. And this is about two girls who are Asian American girls who in the 19th century travel west with their father. They already have lost their mother. The father dies, and the two girls are trying to bring their father to California, to the west, to bury him there. This is the debut novel by Pam C. Zhang, How Much of These Hills Are Gold. And these are all the 13 titles for the Bookerprize in 2020. One of them is going to win. And the big favorite, of course, is Hilary Mantel, but who knows, you know? You'll never know who's going to win. 9 women, I repeat that, 9-4 women, and loads of American authors on the list, which is a real surprise to me. See you soon. Bye-bye.